Subtraction with regrouping. So subtraction with regrouping means that I have to bring a amount over from another place value because in the operation of subtraction, I can't reverse the numbers. So I have to be able to move stuff over. So let's look at this. So if I have 1 minus 7, well, I know I cannot subtract 7 from 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross off my 2 and I'm going to borrow 1. But I'm actually not borrowing 1, I'm actually borrowing 10. So I'm going to bring over 10. So 1 plus 10 is 11. Now I can subtract 7. 11 minus 7 is going to give me 4. Again, though, I'm in the next, so then I move to the next place value. 1 minus 7. Again, can't do that, right? So I got to go over to the 4, and I'm going to borrow 1. But remember, I'm bringing it over as 10. So this 1 becomes a 11. 11 minus 7 again is 4. Then I'm going to subtract again. 3 minus 2 is 1. So my answer is 144. I can also do another strategy where I draw out uh, my place value. So I can do 4 hundreds, 2 tens, and 1. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and I'm going to subtract 277. So I'm going to first start at the 7. Well, I know I can't subtract 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross off one of my 10s and I'm going to make it into 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now I can cross it off. I can cross off 7. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I have how many left? 4. Okay. I'm going to go to the next place value. Well, I need to again cross off 7, but I can't do that. So I'm going to go up to one of my hundreds, cross off my hundreds, and then I'm going to put those in as tens. And there's 10 tens in 100. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I can cross off 7. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if I look, I have 4 left there. And then I'm going to go up here to the top. I'm going to count. Now I have to take off what? My hundreds place, which is 2. So I'm going to go 1, 2. And how many do I have left? 1. So if I look, my answer still here is 144. Okay? 2 different strategies. Pick a strategy that works for you. All right. So 518 minus 232. Again, I can draw out my place value. So I can do 500. And then I have 110, and then I have 8 ones. Okay? Then I'm going to subtract 232. Again, then I'm going to still start at my smallest place value. All right, well, I can subtract 2 off. That means I have how many left? 6. Go to the next place value. I need to subtract 3. Oh, can't do that. I can't subtract 3 from 1. So I'm going to cross off hundreds, and then I'm going to bring that over as 10. Because I know that there are 10 tens in 100. All right, now I can cross off. So I'm going to cross off how many? 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. If I look, I have 3 here, 5 here. That makes 8. Now I can move to my next place value. Take away 2. 1, 2. I have 2 left. So my answer here should be 286. Well, let's check. 8 minus 2 is going to give me, 8 minus 2 is 6. 1 minus 3, can't do it. I got to cross off my 5, make it a 4. Remember, I'm borrowing 1, but I'm bringing it over as 10. So this 1 becomes a 11 because 1 plus 10 is 11. 11 minus 3 is going to give me 8. 4 minus 2 is 286. All right, let's try a bigger number. again though, uh if I can't subtract, I'm gonna have to borrow. So I'm gonna come over to the 4, cross off that 4. That 4 becomes a 3. Remember though, I'm borrowing 1, but I'm bringing it over as 10. So this 0 becomes a 10, because 0 plus 10 is 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. Get to my next place value. Oop, can't do it. I'm going to have to borrow from the 8. Borrow from the 8. The 8 becomes a 7. Remember, I'm borrowing 1, but I'm bringing it over as 10. So 3 plus 10 is 13. 13 minus 6 is going to give me 7. Then I'm going to subtract again. 7 minus 4 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. So my answer is 377. All right, I can still do the same place value with the blocks, but instead I'm going to make one 1,000 by putting a T in it, okay? And then I'm going to have my 800. And then I'm going to have my 4 tens, and I don't have any ones. And I'm going to do the same strategy that I did before, which is I'm going to borrow. So I'm going to borrow from my hundreds again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I'm going to cross off. I can cross off. I messed up there. I'm sorry. Instead of crossing off hundreds, we should have crossed off a 10. So let me erase that. See, sometimes we make mistakes. All right, let's see. Let's try that again. So there's my 8, there's my 4, but I got to cross off one of my 10s and make it into 10, because I know there's 10 ones in a 10, and I have to cross it off and make my ones. Then I'm going to cross off 3, and then I'm going to have 7 left. Then I go to my next place value. I'm going to still have to borrow from my hundreds. Again, I'm going to have to cross off. I'm going to have to make my hundreds, cross off my 6. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I have 7 left there. And then I'm going to go up to my hundreds. I have 700s left, because remember I borrowed already from there. And I need to take away 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I look, I have 3 left. So I have 3. And then if I go to the thousands place, I'm going to cross off 1,000. So I have none. So my answer is 377. All right. We're just going to do standard algorithm on this one. So 5 minus 9. I can't do that. So I'm going to cross off my 1. It becomes a 0. My 5 becomes a 15. Remember, I'm bringing over 10. 15 minus 9 is going to give me 6. Here I can't do 0 minus 4, but I also can't borrow from my next place value because my neighbor doesn't have anything to borrow. So what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go to the nearest place value that I can borrow from. So I'm going to borrow from my 7. My 7 becomes a 6, but I can't carry it back all the way back over because I'm going to be going to my neighbor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this off at my neighbor, my 10. My neighbor gets 10. Now I can borrow from my neighbor. So I'm going to go next door and say, hey, neighbor, can I borrow 1? And my 10 becomes a 9 because I'm borrowing from my neighbor. Okay. And then I'm going to bring over my 10. So this becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 2 is 7. 6 minus 5 is 1. And my answer is 1,766. All right, so anytime I have a number that is laid out vertically, I'm always going to change it and make it where I line up my place value, because it's easy for me to see if I make a mistake. So here, 2 minus 1 is going to give me 1, but I can't do 5 minus 8. I'm going to have to borrow from the 5, make it a 4. Remember, I'm borrowing 1, but I'm bringing it over as 10. So my 5 becomes a 15. 15 minus 8 is 7. 4 minus 3 is 1. So my answer is 171. All right, anytime we have a missing number, all we're going to do is work it out like we would with standard algorithm and see what number are we missing. So, and then we are going to use addition to help us figure it out. So I know here 4 minus 1 is going to give me 3. So that checks out. Here 6 minus what will give me 2. Well, I know if I put a 4 there, 6 minus 4 will give me 2. And then 9 minus 3 is 6. All of this checks out. So my missing number is 4. I also know that 2 plus 4 is 6, right? 2 plus 4 is 6. So that can also help me. So addition can help you with figuring out the missing number with subtraction. All right, here, same thing. 4 minus what will give me 6? Well, I know 6 is bigger. So whatever I put there, I know that this had to be a 14 because that means that I had to borrow from that 4. That 4 became a 3. So now 14 minus what number will give me 6? Well, I know that 14 minus 6 is what? I'll give you a second to figure out. 14 minus 6 is 8. So I know that I said 14 minus 8 is 6. So that's how I figured this out. Now I'm going to go to the next place value. So 3 minus 6 equals 7. Well, I can't do that. So whatever number I had here, I had to borrow from it because this had to be a 13. So 13 minus 6 equals 7. Okay, yep, that checks out. So these are all checking out. So I'm going to move to my next place value. My next place value is what number minus 5 equals 6? Well, again, we're going up in numbers, right? And so what would I need to add to 6 to get, or what would I add to 6 to get, what I need to add 5 to 6, and that would give me my answer. So 5 plus 6 is 11, right? Okay, so it would be 11 here, but I know that it actually had to have been 2 to begin with because they crossed off the 2 and made a 1. So the original number that was here was a 2 because I know that they borrowed from it, made it a 1, right? And then they borrowed from this 8, made it a 7, and that became a 11. And 11 minus 5 is 6. So that's how I'm going back. Remember I said we're going back and we're doing our steps. So here, my original number here is a 2. So then I'm going to go to, that checks out, go to my next place value. 7 minus 2 is 5. So my answer is 5,676. All right, let's look at it as a word problem. A blue marlin weighs 1,209 pounds. A swordfish weighs 785 pounds. How much more? So there's my key word there. How much more does the blue marlin weigh than the swordfish? That means I'm going to subtract. All right, so 9 minus 5 is 4. 0 minus 8, oop, can't do it. So I'm going to cross off my 2. My 2 becomes a 1. My 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. All right, 1 minus 7, oh, can't do that one. So cross off the 1, make it a 0. That 1 becomes an 11. 11 minus 7, I can do that. That would be 4. So my answer is 4,000 or 424.